Hello, Internet. Thank you once again for joining me to talk all things vertical drama. I am joined by not only the stars, but also the originator of the story of recent vertical drama release Rival Hearts, which is one of the best football themed verticals out there. I have to say now, football slash soccer. It's not football, American football, it's football soccer. I'm
Football.
going to let our wonderful guests introduce themselves. Antonio, can you go first and just explain your attachment to this project?
My pleasure, for sure. So my name is Antonio Rosello. I created the story for Rival Hearts, and I also played one of our amazing leads. And it was produced by River Films. It's out now on Veyou, and I couldn't be happier with the results.
And then the beautiful Queen, who is also in this interview.
Is that me?
Yeah, that's you.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Becca Berg, and I play Kara in Rival Hearts. And yeah, we had a lot of fun making this one, so.
Yep.
So, Antonio, we have to lead then with you having the idea. So, how long has this idea sort of been in your head? Is it fairly recent, or is it one of these things that you've actually had ticking around in your head for years?
That's interesting. I think subconsciously for years, the idea, basically the show is about the two biggest soccer stars falling in love for a reporter. And the idea came from watching the 2010 World Cup when I was a kid. And I remember this image of Iker Casillas, Spain's goalkeeper, who they won the World Cup. He was dating a reporter, and the world saw him getting interviewed by his girlfriend, and he just kisses her right then and there in front of the world as he just won the World Cup. And I remember seeing that. And then years later, here we are, the World Cup just happened in LA. And January 2026, I was thinking, wow, we've seen so many sports verticals. I want to be in a soccer love story one. And so from January to about April, I developed the idea, um, you know, uh, the summary, characters, the um, story structure. And then in April, I met Becca. We were both in Tennessee shooting a vertical with River Films. I pitched it to them, and after a few meetings, they loved the idea. They decided to go ahead and fund it, and for this to be their second vertical, and they got distribution with VU. And very quickly, they hired Mark and Joe Biliela as writers. I gave notes, River gave notes, the director gave notes, and the platform gave notes. And from there, from my original idea, came the script that we all know now.
It was so funny because I remember we were at the Chera event, which was right after we had been in Knoxville, and you were like, "Oh, Becca, by the way, like I attached you to this idea I'm pitching. It's like a soccer thing. Like I hope it's okay. I just like attached your name and picture." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, always. Like I love when that happens, but 95% of the time or 99% of the time things don't get done. Like they just don't. Like it'll stay with that." And then, Lord and behold, a couple of weeks later, I got a text from the CEO of River being like, "Are you available on these dates?" I was like, "Yes, for you, always."
That's so exciting, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
and shout out to Lori, CEO of River. She's amazing.
Oh,
Laurie is
I don't know
everything.
why I mimed that. Nobody's here. She's
But
the
yeah.
best.
I have to say as well, I think we can also now credit Spain's second World Cup win within a certain era to you, because obviously Spain have just won the World Cup again.
That's true. We
2010.
welcome Spain.
It,
I'll take
yeah,
credit for your
that's all
win.
you.
That was such a crazy, that was a
So,
crazy um, match.
and you were filming then during the actual World Cup, weren't you, when you actually went to film?
That's right.
Right
That
in
was
the
a dream
beginning
come
of it.
true. That was it. I my two dreams as a kid were to be a soccer player or an actor. So this was a way of merging both. And shooting a soccer vertical during the World Cup was truly amazing. And we were watching the World Cup as we were shooting. So in between takes, we had the World Cup on one of the TVs, for example. So it was just a great time.
I just want to say I was the only one who was like right in my predictions about who was gonna win.
Really?
Yeah. I
Wow.
said I said not Denmark because they were smaller than us. So
I mean,
y'all were wrong. I was right. They didn't.
but shout out to them. I mean, Holland, love the guy. What an icon.
You've just
Holland?
Yeah, the player.
Yeah.
it's all right. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay. So how
Like,
was it? Because obviously we had a mix of people on set who are big, massive soccer fans, and then people who were making this vertical, and maybe not such big soccer fans. How did that work? Did you feel over soccered?
it worked the way that the people who didn't know soccer got booed all the time. No. We, imagine. No, I have a big interest for soccer. I'm raised with it very, very much. Like my brother and parents, huge soccer fans. We would go to Camp Nou, which is like in
Barcelona.
Barcelona, and see. And my dad always had like tickets to the most insane soccer matches. And my brother, like, soccer was like his religion. But I never really followed it. But I still feel really, really attached to it. And now in the World Cup, I actually like do watch it, and it's like, I don't know, these tournaments, like especially if your country is actually playing, they come with such like camaraderie, and like it's like the whole society just like comes together. Like, well, you're British, you know this.
Yeah.
You actually did pretty good this World Cup. Like,
Yeah, we had hope briefly. We got, and it went
you
its normal
did
way. But we
It
couldn't get
almost
hope.
went home.
Yeah,
Almost.
it's never
almost.
coming home. One day, no, it will. One day it'll
I
come
love
home.
when our Danish player was like, "Has it ever been home?" Because you're like, and he's like, "Has it ever been
Many,
home?"
many years ago.
Yeah.
It's longer. So, Antonio, when you were sort of writing, developing this story, did you always have a certain character in mind that you wanted to play, and how much did you write that character kind of to suit, I guess, your acting style and personality?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. So the two inspirations of the characters were the player Cristiano Ronaldo and Neymar. Cristiano Ronaldo is sort of I modeled my character based on him. He's my childhood icon. So I knew that I wanted to play the cocky, very confident type of player, and I knew that I wanted both players to have one to be the golden boy, which was played so that was Leo Veyou, played by Sam Meyerson, and one to be kind of like the well, yeah, the cocky one that people learn to love, and I knew I wanted to play that character. Nico Rojas, by the way. Yeah.
And then, Becca, what's wonderful about Cara is, Becca is one of the best people out there at playing villains, and obviously has done a range of roles across all vertical dramas. Go check them out. But often the villain sort of main, whether they're male or female, often the main drive is it's a kind of a love interest thing, isn't it? If I want that person. What's lovely about this is that's not really there. This is much
Yeah.
more of a career
Yeah.
girl
Completely.
reporter who's just like, I just want a story. That must have been joyous to have a character when you
Yes.
have a different goal. Sorry, terrible pun, but a different goal.
No,
Yeah.
that was like literally one of my favorite things about her when I read it, because it was like a little bit different. Like you say, usually villains are like obsessed with some guy who literally doesn't care if they live or die. Like, and this was not it, but she was also like frisky, and like I think she was written away on the page, and I think we obviously followed that, but I think what came out of it, given also the circumstances, was actually very, very different from how she was written on the page. And they just like Michael, the director, like he just gave me so much like freedom to try things and do something different, because I've done so many villains. Now I'm like I'm always trying to make all of my villains different. So I'm like, obviously I see what's written on the page and get the idea of what they want and what this character is supposed to be for the story. And then I like see, but can I make this different from all the other ones I've done. And I got the freedom to that, obviously also because of the circumstances, but it was so fun.
I think you've alluded to the circumstances.
A little bit. Yeah.
Please, could you explain the circumstances of what happened just before you were about to get on a plane to go to Tennessee to film this?
So it's like 4 a.m. in the morning. I am stressing out. I have to go to the airport to fly to Knoxville. And I trip over Elton John, my cat, was laying
Oh.
Not the rock star.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, cat. Not, for clarification, I trip over Elton John, and in order to not step on him, I sacrifice my foot. And worth it, by the way. And like, I smash my toe into something. I don't even know what. And I'm like screaming in pain. But I'm also like, I'm really busy. I gotta go. So I leave and like get down in my Uber. And as I'm in the Uber, I'm like, this is bad. Like, this is probably, I have a really high pain tolerance. And I'm like, I whine about a lot of things, but like pain isn't one of them. So if I'm like, ooh, this is bad, then it probably is not good. Um, and like as I had to get out of the Uber when we go, like as we arrive at the airport, I'm like trying to put on my boot and I am like crying, screaming, just like putting it on. And the driver is looking at me and I'm like, hey, like I broke my toe. And I'm like expecting her to maybe like get out and help me get like my luggage out, like my huge suitcase or something. And she's like, oh, that's so sad for you. And I'm just like, yeah. She stays. See, honestly, 5-star rating for commitment to not giving a fucking shit. And like, I'm like, okay. And I'm just like, I can't walk. I can barely get my boot on. I'm crying. I'm in pain. I get the luggage out. I go to like the terminal, whatever. And they're like, ma'am, do you need a wheelchair? And I was like, I don't know. Do I? And I go sit over in the wheelchair area. There happens to be a doctor there. She looks at my foot. She's like, yeah, your toe is broken. I like am sitting there waiting for wheelchair, and Nicole Maddox, who plays the lead, we were flying together, and I had just been hanging out with her the day before. And so she's already at the gate, and she's like, they're calling your name to board first. And I'm pretty sure that in her mind, she's thinking, they got Rebecca business class, like, and not me, or like, I'm pretty sure that's like, why is she boarding first? Like, does she have better seats than me? And I'm like, no, girl, I broke my toe. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm being wheeled in right now. And she's like, what? I was just with you. And I was like, no, it just happened. And I get on the flight and I'm like so worried about being replaced. So I'm like, we're not going to tell anyone until we're like at least in Dallas. Like, I don't want to give River time to like replace me. So we like go on, we fly there, and of course also it's a very, very humbling experience, especially because the airline did not care that I was in row 31 all the way down and I couldn't walk. We're like, can we switch? They're like, no. So it was just a very humbling experience. Nicole like carrying me down to my seat and me not being able to do anything. And yeah, it was fun. And
Were you on pain meds?
Huh?
Were you on pain meds?
Yes. Yes.
At
And
least.
I also went to the doctor in Knoxville who looked at it and they were like, it's broken.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So you turn up with that. Now, obviously, River, I think it's important to say, are an amazing production company because I
They
think there's
are,
definitely truth.
they're the best.
Some production companies would be like, that doesn't work for us.
Yeah.
Not the case here.
Yes. No, but it was also like, I had been wanting to work with Tommy Harper, who is the CEO of Veyou. I've been wanting to work with him for a while, and I've been like, I really want to work for this guy. Like, his idea for his app and like what he's trying to do seems really cool, and I really want to like get involved. I want to be on his radar. Well, I was now, as the fucking idiot who like broke her toe on her way. I'm like, oh man. Well, but we like I came there and River was so nice and one of the producers, Angela, like she happened to have a boot that fit me from her son, and they were just so sweet. And I had my fitting, and every time I had to try on a pair of shoes, it was just almost impossible. Because initially I was like, no, no, we'll work around it. Like, just don't give me heels, and I'll just have to be a standing reporter and not so much a running one. But then as we get to the shoot day and we start shooting, then suddenly Michael, the director, is like, do you want to wear the boot? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, you can. And I was like, well, if you want to up the comedy in this, I think it could be a fun way and we could work it in. But if you don't want to up the comedy, then I don't think we should do it. And then they asked Laurie, the CEO, and they asked Tommy Harbour, and they were like, yeah, go for it. And that is how the boot became a lead character.
And what was the line that they kind of you came up with? How quick was it to decide the reason why Kara's wearing the boot? Because it's so
Well,
just a very quick line, isn't it?
we never actually established why she's wearing a boot. But I was like, Michael, should we just throw in little things here and there? And like every time somebody asks about the boot, I give like a different answer. Some of it was actually cut out. Unfortunately, maybe
Yeah.
it didn't work, but like we had a few more that we had like improvised. Like there was one where the guy who plays his name is William Novak, the guy who plays what was the character name? Victor
Um,
Novak.
Victor
Victor
Novak.
Novak.
Yep.
Um, he's like
He's
asking me
the Boo
about the boot.
Hiss. He's the Boo Hiss
What?
villain. He's the Boo Hiss villain, isn't he? Victor Novak. Yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love the way he played that character. I found it so funny. Like I watched anyway. But yeah, there was a scene where we're chatting and we improvised a few things where I said that I had like fallen on a boat and that was it. And then, in another scene it's something else. And then there's a scene with Nicole where she's like, oh, did you like hook up with a soccer player and hurt your foot? And I was like, different soccer player. Like that was also improvised, but yeah, they
And
didn't keep
that
all
made
of
it
it in
in.
there. Huh?
That one's in.
And that made it in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was fun.
Oh, so now the good news is Antonio, you didn't break a toe
No.
because you actually are doing quite a bit of football. There's
That's
some
right.
there's some like actual okay. If you haven't watched vertical dramas and sports dramas, you will know that the actual amount of sport can vary in a vertical drama. Some have quite a lot. Some have you kind of wear the kit, and that's as close as we get to the sport. But you've actually put quite a bit of soccer in, which I think was partly obviously why Sam Myerson came on as well, because that's again someone else who's got a soccer background. What were your favourite bits that you got to do with the soccer? Where did you film those scenes as well? Because they look amazing.
That's right. So that was one of one of my favorite parts about the shoot, the playing soccer itself. I loved so we shot the soccer scenes at a stadium where it's a baseball stadium that gets transformed into a soccer stadium, and then uh, the seats we had, of course, human extras, and then we couldn't have thousands, so we filled some in digitally, and the story of the show is that we see the first episode, something dramatic happens, and then we go back in time, and then at the end we pick up from what happened at the start. So we shot those soccer scenes all in, I'd say 2 days of playing soccer,
Agree.
and the scenes where Sam and I's character clash on the field. So him and I got to play some soccer. He did an overhead kick. I did a bit of dribbling and a couple shots. So,
By the way,
uh,
it was like 40 degrees Celsius.
oh, it was so hot.
Like it was
Yeah,
extremely hot,
yeah,
which worked for you guys' as character. It doesn't like sweaty soccer players is normal, but I want to give a shout out to the background, the extras, like such freaking troopers. Honestly, their job, one of the days was one of the hardest jobs on the set because sitting in the audience for hours and hours and in the sun, in the direct sun, in that heat, and the humidity was also really high, and they had to like cheer. So they're also using, like, they have to do something that does require a lot of energy. That's a tough job. Like, that's when it's a really tough job to be like background, and they were amazing troopers,
yeah.
really.
It was exhausting for sure.
And then you also had, obviously, you have to kind of fill out the soccer team as well. So that's kind of quite fun. With sort of, were they local soccer players? I kind of am always intrigued.
That's right. Yeah. So we had a soccer specialist. When you do a sports, any sport on film, you have someone there to make sure that the sport looks real and whatnot. So wardrobe did an amazing job. So we had the kits, we had everything we needed, and then the soccer players were local Knoxville talent. That a few were actual soccer players, and a few were just soccer enthusiasts that wanted to come and be a part of this. Shout out to them as well. And we bonded
Oh,
quite a bit, actually. I actually have a group chat on Telegram with a few of the actors there that we all got along really well.
this sounds like a really basic question, but obviously, when you're doing kits, I kind of totally understand that you went for blue and red because blue and red's so visual and opposite. Was
Yeah.
Did you get to say that I want to be blue rather than red? Like, what was the decision process?
Actually, in terms of the kit, I didn't have a say in it. We had our amazing wardrobe head, Anne, who took care
Shout
of
out
that.
Ann Thomas.
Shout out to her. She's awesome. She's so kind. And shout out because she actually designed the logos of both teams, which was awesome. So that was all up to her creativity.
We love Ann.
So the other thing that's great about this is obviously it's all a little bit different. The kind of the villainry. So there's a bit more to this story. So we've already mentioned Victor Novak, who turns out to be the bad guy, and there's kind of some slight, very gentle comment on the state of the world and sport of the fact that he's not really interested in the sport. It's much more about what gets him clicks and things like that. And then the opening scene, I'm not spoiling anything,
He's a businessman.
yeah, is essentially a fake AI thing that's put up of Nicole's character Maya, and sort of it's it's just interesting. There's just a little bit more relevant. Presumably that just makes it more interesting for all of you. And kind of, did that come from you, Antonio, or was that
Yeah.
something that Joe and Mark brought in?
Yeah, so there was the AI sex tape came from me, but the way that it was implemented to have that show up on the screens during the first episode, that match, was their idea. But essentially, I wanted to. There's this morbid curiosity or just the media attention behind the lives of soccer players. So I wanted to create a story that showed the behind the scenes of what it's like to be a soccer player. And on the other hand, I thought that AI sex tapes, which is what happens in the show, are relevant, unfortunately, because it's happening throughout the world well, it can happen to anyone. And it's also happening a lot in verticals currently where fake sex tapes are being created with us actors' likeness. So yeah, it was done on purpose because it's something that's relevant, unfortunately. And shout out to Joe and Mark that did this, that put it in such a great way.
Yeah. Very relevant, unfortunately. Like, it's definitely
Um,
one of the most, like, in that sense, more realistic plots, kind of.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I
nowadays,
think
yeah,
it's interesting as a audience member to kind of see that, and obviously just the distress of Maya of like, that's not me, and Well, we
And we
know
also,
who was in that tape, don't we? That's very good. With the
I
cream.
like I had totally forgotten about that scene, so like I watched it when it came out with my mom, and then I was like,
Whoops.
uh,
Um, it was really interesting that you mentioned Ronaldo as being a bit of a inspiration, because actually that's one of the things with Nico, because he's not always that likable to begin with, which I think makes it more interesting. This is the famous Elton John, everyone.
Aw, there he is.
yeah, man, he's 16 pounds.
But one of the kind of most heartwarming scenes where I think everyone, both, as an audience and also buyer, kind of is when Nico goes back to the orphanage and he's kind of playing with the kids, which is really interesting because obviously there's a parallel that, people have certain impressions of Ronaldo, but that's something Ronaldo's always done a lot of. He does a lot of work with kind of children's foundations and that. How was filming that? Because that just looked fun. Like you got to kick around a ball with like kids. Just looks joyous.
Great job. It makes me really happy that you're aware of that Ronaldo's background in that way, and that's right. Yeah, he comes from very humble beginnings, and he does a lot of charity work, and we wanted to weave that in there, and also have the social commentary of, well, a character comes from wealth, another doesn't, which always adds interesting dynamic. So that was super fun. We had some also local Knoxville actors, just kids that love playing soccer, and we just got to have fun playing soccer, just kicking the ball around for a couple hours. That was also very fun.
I have to ask then for each of you, what was a favourite scene that we've not kind of covered yet? One that you really loved, or a line, or something that you felt really landed?
I mean, all of it was just so fun because, man, I just loved Kara. Um, for me, I liked shooting indoors because it was really, 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 really hot outside. But um, man, I just had so much fun with her and loved that I got so much freedom and the around her and the collaboration. I tried to make her not necessarily all evil, just a little bit more clueless almost, like not dumb, but like, and then like, whereas Victor is kind of more just straight up evil. Um, I had a lot of fun with Nicole, especially our back and forth. Interestingly enough, I didn't have that much with you, Antonio. Like, my character didn't interact like that much.
That's true.
Um, but yeah, my favorite scene was probably the stuff with Nicole and like the press conference, like in the very beginning. And also, I mean, the scene with Sam and Lauren, like that
Hmm.
scene, the bedroom scene.
Whipped cream.
Yeah, we we had so much whipped cream. We almost ate like the entire bottle.
Sounds
Um,
great.
it was
I
so we just laughed a lot doing that.
I have to say, I do love the press conference at the beginning, and I think you told me that one of the lines that I loved was improvised because you're both asking questions, and your
Yeah,
characters like there's something that Nicole
yeah.
Manchett's character asks, and you're like, could you just Google that? It's like it's not that clever.
Yeah.
Exactly, like, because Nicole is like this really like she says something or her character says something, and then Nico, aka Antonio, is like really impressed, and he's like, "Oh, finally, like, who does their homework?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's literally one Google search." Like, I just
You
felt it fitted, and that
you
was a little,
improvised that, and
yeah.
that was one of the highlights of that scene. Yeah.
Anyway, you
I'm
didn't
glad
just
they
say it.
did.
There was an excellent eye roll as well. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
what about you, Antonio?
Yes, for me, I'm gonna have to say, well, it's hard to pick between these two moments that were my favorite. I loved that initial press conference scene. Uh, when your character gets introduced in a vertical and they give you this amazing kind of bottom to top shot reveal. Getting to do that feels really cool, and I think it came out. I think they made me look really cool.
Oh my
So
gosh, you
shooting
look
that,
so cool. Are you kidding me? Like the lights, the smoke, the slow. I mean, that must have
yeah,
felt really cool to like everybody, all of us want to have an entrance like that, you know?
which I'm sure you've had.
Not, no, nothing as cool. I've had my slow-mo and all that stuff, but yeah, not
Well,
not as cool.
I think it's gonna come soon, and well, it did indeed feel very cool. And that whole sequence, just standing up there and doing and replicating what I've seen my soccer stars do, which is show their jersey, kiss the logo, kiss the emblem, and have that press conference.
I
That
feel
felt
like that's
amazing.
every little boy's dream to be that.
Yeah, that was super cool. And then of course just playing soccer and having the cameras on us as we, well, as Sam and I have this confrontation. I remember Michael telling me, "Yeah, so I want you to say I'm gonna kill you, but I want you to say it like you're Batman." So that was the intention behind that line. And yeah, I remember getting to play around with it, and then
I love
yeah,
Michael.
that moment he was super passionate. Probably one of the most passionate directors I've ever worked with. Yeah,
It was
shout
very
out to him.
collaborative. Like some directors are very, very set on exactly what they want, which is totally fine because you gotta have like an overlook and they're like they have a specific idea like this is how it's gonna be and you don't get to try as much or like then you kind of have to do it their way again, which is fine, but Michael was just so collaborative and so thinking on the spot, changing things on the spot. And he'd be like, "Hey, Rebecca, like when you go up to stand there, can you just like improvise something?" And I'm like, "Yes, but like in what range of like, give me like kind of like what, um, like, like where you want to go, like improvise." Uh, like it was just so fun to get to like have that and yeah, and do different things, thinking on the spot, changing things on the spot. He was awesome to work with.
I agree. He would ask us our thoughts and allow us to play with the scene, which felt great. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love he also took the thing with the boot because even though some of the like lines were cut out, his edit, really did something with the boot, like the constant slow-mo and revealing the boot before the person and stuff, which I think also worked and was really funny. I laughed when I saw it.
That was actually my next question. You're so good. You just lead me onto it, which is like obviously you finish the project, you go home, hopefully your foot heals. Um, what was it like when it came out? What were the things that sort of fans picked up and messaged you about? And was there anything that surprised you?
I mean, I got a lot of messages just saying that they really, really loved Kara. Like that it was so fun and yeah, they thought it was really funny. The line that you liked with the Google search line, I got a lot of comments on that one. And then my mom, who doesn't, she's not into watching verticals, and she thinks, some I have done where she's only seen clips are questionable, fair. But she was like, she said that this one was really, really good. She really liked Dash of Fire,
Mm.
um, but she really liked this one. And she thinks that like Sam and Antonio are like really handsome. They're just like, she's like, those are two handsome men. That's what she says that a lot.
It's amazing.
I'm like, yeah.
I mean, and if you look anything like her, I'm sure your mom is a beautiful woman as well. Gotta say.
She's the best. The best. I have a fun fact about Antonio.
Go on then. Shout.
Antonio is committed to the craft. Whenever he plays a role, he really does something extra for Dash of Fire. he took a cooking class. I hope you got it refunded because that
Two
really
cooking
didn't.
classes,
It,
and
well, well, didn't seem like it, but
no, you're right.
but nobody could tell you did that, but he did. For this one, he pierced his ears.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's true. So yeah, for our Dash of Fire, we did this cooking show, also with River, also in Tennessee, and I took some cooking classes, also because I just genuinely wanted to use the opportunity to learn a bit more about cooking. And then I cut my thumb right as we were supposed, right as you see me start cooking, I cut my thumb, which is very silly of me. Felt very silly. But then for this one, that's right. I wanted to give Nico the typical soccer player look, so I did pierce my ears. I've also kind of like secretly wanted to do that all my whole life. Now they've closed, but I did that. I thought it looked great. And
No,
back
it
to your
is.
question.
If you have a look at like all the top soccer players, obviously like Ronaldo, yeah, it's very common to say.
That's right. And then back to your question on the feedback from the show. I received a ton of congratulations and people really loving the show. And lots of the messages that I got were from fellow actors or members of the vertical space asking about how the process was as a creator of a show, which is something that we're seeing more and more of actors in this space starting to have more power over their careers and 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 provide ideas because we're all so talented that and we know this space so well and we see the flaws that the space might have. So thank you to River and VU for allowing me to have a voice and for all the doors that are opening for creators to for actors to become creators and whatnot. So a lot of people were asking me questions about that and kind of the process was pitching to et cetera, to getting it done.
I just want to echo that because it's always been it's like you are the best people to always talk to about the vertical industry and come up with ideas. It's like these are people been on the sets, you know what works, you know what doesn't work. You speak to all the fans, you know what the views are. It's like these are like you should always be like listened to above and beyond everyone else, really, in my view, because you know
And
best.
well, that just doesn't always happen. And that's like, that's okay. Like, sometimes it is more like you're an actor, so do that job, But with River in particular, they're so interested in our ideas. Like, they really, really do want to hear what we have to say. Like, I love them. Like, they are just like the best company to work with. Actually, we should start saying how terrible they are so nobody wants to work with them, so they have to hire us.
Gatekeeping. They're
Yeah,
ours.
I hate them. Don't work with River. No, they like even with the costumes, right? Like that is not my lane at all. That's why there's a costumer. But I did have ideas and I did tell those to Laurie before shooting because I was like, sometimes in verticals, I feel like they always do like the very standard of things. Like a reporter looks very standard reporter. Like the makeup has to be like very standard something. And I'm like, why is that? Like, why can't we do something a little different? And I wanted Kara to be a bit more. The reference I sent was Clueless, Alicia Silverstone in Clueless, and like her stuff. And then Lori loved it and told the costumer, and she loved it, and got a bunch of different looks for Kara. And it's like some of my favorite outfits I've worn in a vertical. Like they just really, really help me feel like the character, and they really helped me give that extra thing to Kara where I was like, it doesn't have to be played this way. It doesn't have to be a standard tabloid journalist. Like it could be something else. Like why don't we try and make it iconic? And I really enjoyed that whole collaboration process overall and thought that it gave a lot to the story.
And I have to say, just at the end, I mean, Kara kind of throws Victor to the wolves, but gets away with it a little bit, doesn't she? Which I rather like. And I'm like, the story's not over, you know. I think Nico and Maya, you know, you've got two hotheads there who are going to keep clashing.
Yeah.
I feel like we could definitely go back to this world if we wanted to.
Yeah, I think there's still potential, like you say, for a season 2. Hopefully, maybe, who knows? Maybe it happens, maybe not. Maybe Leo gets some sort of redemption. Definitely, Kara would be fun to explore her life, her world a bit more. So, who knows?
I also love that like the male lead characters were not purely green flags and not purely red flags. Like they were kind of mixed flags. It was also fun, I think, for Sam to play that because I don't think he usually gets to. But yeah, I really liked that it wasn't so black and white. There were some things like that's more in the gray area, and I personally always like that.
Yeah.
But you still delivered everything vertical once, you know. We had iconic lines from yourself, Becca. You know, we had some excellent romance. We had, you know, tension and emotion. So it kind of shows you can do both. You can still keep everything we love about verticals, but, you know, move it forward a little bit.
And guess what? You don't need a banquet scene. What?
We had our own version of that, sort of, with the fundraiser.
Yeah.
So
I
there's
forgot
ways
about
to
that.
play.
Never
There's
mind.
ways to play with the tropes, but still bring something fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of my lines. That was one of my favorite lines
Which
Which
one?
one?
at the fundraiser. I had one line, and it was, "Is he on fucking drugs?"
I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
You did
I added
very
the
good.
fucking
And
I
I
was
love.
not
like-
watching you.
so loud.
I want to release some BTS of that moment. I had a blast shooting that, playing Nico getting drugged and stumbling on stage and all that. We were cracking up after every single take, having the coach carry me, and then Leo, and Nicole. And then when the cameras flipped and then it was time to get everyone else's reactions, the background, our other characters reacting to what they were seeing, they still had me stand in and still do my movements, but I just got really goofy, and I was doing the Michael Jackson Thriller, I was kind of wiggling about, so I think I made people genuinely laugh in that scene.
I just want to say thank you so much to you both. You're both amazing. First of all, thank you, Antonio, for having the idea,
Thank you.
because it's
Thank
wonderful.
you for
and seeing
putting
it
me on
through.
your pitch deck.
Yeah, thank you for knowing that Becca is the only person out there who could play Kara. And yeah, just the pair of you, you're both wonderful. And indeed, everyone is. Everyone in the, you know, Cole and Sam,
is
but also
such
everyone
a
else in the
good team.
production, director Michael, the app Veyou. It's all amazing. It's one of my favourite verticals. So thank you to all of you
Thank
for everything
you.
you did and all the hard work and standing in very hot sun with a broken toe and making it all happen.
Means a lot, Jen. Thank you so much for all the support that you put into our projects and all the love that you give us. We can feel it.
And thank you, River. Man, they are, best people.
Yeah.
Like I will do literally anything for them.
Me too.
Love them.
So honest. It
Just
happens
good- they're
in the
just good
space.
people.
Sometimes some production exact good people. Sometimes you feel like you might be getting lied to, or you feel like there's something shady going on with other production companies and other productions. But River is not like that at all. It's kind-hearted people all around. So
Care so much about like your well-being. Like they're such good people. Such good people. And also on the topic of like AI, which is a very hot topic, especially at the moment. This app, Veyou, and this show particular shows how to use AI in a way that is morally defensible, in my opinion, and makes sense because I think we're going to also see that more, which is like hybrid, which is like some of the background was AI'd because they didn't have the budget to fill 10,000 people in a soccer stadium. I think that's fair. Like using AI when you don't have the budget to help elevate something that you want to do, because like basically otherwise a lot of this wouldn't be possible. I think that is a way where, as an actor, I will always prefer to be on like the real location as opposed to like an AI'd background. It would be fun to have the stadium filled up. It's just not possible. And I think they showed a way to make it work, and it wasn't at the cost of any creatives. And shout out to Tommy Harper and Weyou for doing that, you know?
That's true. And also, again, shout out to Lori, who, as the CEO of River, was there with us on set every single day, super involved. And then she would show us her active conversations with Tommy, with how Tommy was involved and wanted to see pictures and videos. So they were both super invested in this project, which shows how much they care, and then it speaks to their success. And yeah, good people work with good people, and good people have their fruits of their labor come back to them.
You've ended that perfectly. Thank you, both of you.
Thank you, Jen.